Imagine you're about to board a plane. Your heart starts racing, palms sweat, every noise around you seems like a threat. You're not alone. Up to 40% of people report strong anxiety at the thought of flying. That's nearly half of us. Yet, air travel remains one of the safest ways to get around. So why does flying terrify so many minds? Flying seems normal today. We cross continents in hours, travel for work or vacations, visit loved ones. But for many, that magic carpet ride causes fear more powerful than their logic. That fear even has a name: aviophobia, or the fear of flying. In this video, we'll explore why some people are afraid to fly, what happens in their minds and bodies, and how this fear is more than just a dislike, often a deep psychological reaction with roots in stress, control, and brain wiring. What is aviophobia? Aviophobia, or fear of flying, belongs to a group of specific phobias, meaning fear tied to a certain situation or object. It's not just feeling nervous before a flight. For many, it's intense, persistent anxiety. Thinking about flying, waiting at the airport, or even seeing a plane can trigger panic. Some people avoid travel altogether because of it. Most common triggers: takeoff, landing, turbulence, and sometimes just imagining being high in the sky. Physical symptoms can be dramatic: palpitations, sweating, shaky hands, nausea, shortness of breath, even panic attacks. 2. How common is it, and who suffers from it? As we said, up to 40% of people feel some fear around flying. But some fear means different things for different people. Studies estimate that about 10 to 35% of people in Western countries experience strong anxiety, enough to avoid flying or feel deep discomfort. In many cases, fear of flying doesn't come alone. About 60% of aviophobes also suffer from other phobias, like fear of heights, closed spaces, or water. So likely, if you know someone who's afraid, you're not alone. And it's okay. This fear has roots deeper than simple dislike of airplanes. Why people fear flying. Roots of the anxiety. Lack of control. One of the most common explanations: when you fly, you surrender control. Once the doors close, you're in. You can't get off, you can't steer. For many, that sense of helplessness triggers intense anxiety. Interestingly, many don't actually fear crashing. Often the fear is not about the plane's safety, but about the loss of control and the inability to escape if something goes wrong. Stress, burnout, and past trauma. There is scientific evidence that aviophobia often correlates with past or recent stress, even burnout. One study found that people with higher stress scores had more intense fear of flying experiences. For some, a particularly bad flight, heavy turbulence, scary landing, or hearing about a crash can become a trigger. Over time, the brain learns to associate flying with danger, even if objectively there's none. Other fears: heights, claustrophobia, sensory overload. Often, aviophobia coexists with other fears. For example, fear of heights, fear of closed spaces, claustrophobia, fear of lack of control or unfamiliar sensations. Also, the sensations during a flight, engine noise, turbulence, pressure changes, can be misinterpreted by an anxious brain as threats, triggering a fight or flight response. 4. What happens in the body and mind? When fear kicks in, the brain can trigger a full-blown panic reaction. even while you know on a rational level that nothing bad will probably happen. During a flight, or even in the airport, heart starts racing, breathing becomes shallow, hands tremble. You might feel dizzy, nauseous, or even detached from reality. At that moment, the mind often goes into catastrophe mode. What if the plane crashes? What if we fall? I'm trapped. I can't escape. Logical thinking fades. Emotions take over. For many, that fear leads to avoidance, skipping vacations, refusing job trips, never boarding a plane again. Over time, this can limit life, socially, professionally, personally. 5. Why it feels real, even when it's irrational. Here's the paradox. Statistically, air travel is one of the safest ways to get around. But fear of flying isn't about logic. It's about perception, brain wiring, emotional memory. Many people with aviophobia know consciously that the risk of crash is extremely low. Yet their body and mind react as if danger is immediate. The phobia doesn't care about odds. It reacts to what feels real. This is why reasoning, "But flying is safe," often doesn't help. Instead, the brain needs time, repetition, and gentle exposure to learn that flying equals safe. 6. Can people get over it? Hope for fearful flyers. Yes, fear of flying can be treated, and many people overcome it. Therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, gradual exposure, mentally, in simulators, then real flights, and sometimes therapy with virtual reality help a lot. Exposure works because it helps the brain rewire. Over time, the stimuli, airport, plane noise, takeoff, stop triggering panic and become neutral. Some people also use coping tools, breathing exercises, preparing in advance, focusing on facts instead of feelings, distracting themselves during flight. Even just knowing you're not alone, this is common and treatable, helps many feel less isolated. 7. What it says about our brain. The psychology behind the fear. Fear of flying shows how human brain values perception and control even more than statistics. It reveals that anxiety doesn't always follow logic. It follows what feels real. It also shows how past stress or trauma can tag seemingly unrelated situations like flying with danger. That's associative memory at work. And finally, it highlights how much control and safety, or at least its illusion, matter for our mental comfort. In a strange way, people who are afraid to fly force us to re-examine what safe really means. Conclusion. What to take away. Psalm of flying affects millions. You are far from alone. The fear is rarely about real danger. It's often about loss of control, anxiety, past stress, and how our brains process threats. Emotions don't follow logic. That's why even people who know flying is safe may panic. The good news, with understanding, support, and proper methods, many overcome aviophobia and once again enjoy the freedom flying gives. If you recognize yourself in this, remember, this is not a personal weakness. This is a human brain doing what it evolved to do, protect you, sometimes a little too eagerly. If this feels familiar, share your story in the comments. How does flying make you feel? And have you ever tried to overcome that fear? Your experience might help someone who's going through the same thing right now. This is the if verse, the place where your mind becomes easier to understand. Subscribe. There's so much more to explore. Thank you for watching.